Aprilia rider Marco Bezzecchi had to taste the bitter disappointment of losing a victory that was already within reach. Marco Bezzecchi delivered a strong performance during the 2025 German MotoGP Sprint Race on Saturday, July 12, 2025. In the race, Bezzecchi led for quite a long time. However, he eventually had to acknowledge the strength of Marc Marquez, who overtook him in the final lap. In the end, Bezzecchi lost his chance to win and had to settle for second place. Even though he finished in second place, Bezzecchi admitted he was quite happy with the result, considering it was a good moment for him and Aprilia. Although he failed to win after being overtaken by Marquez, securing a podium finish in the sprint session was still a great moment for them. Moreover, the race took place under tricky conditions due to a wet track. It was a really good day, Bezzecchi told MotoGP.com. It was the first time I started from the front row with Aprilia in a sprint. Battling with Marc at the end was also nice, even though, unfortunately, I lost. But I can't complain. Of course, one lap earlier I was much happier. But we delivered a strong performance, and honestly, I didn't expect to have such good pace in these difficult conditions, he explained. Bezzecchi said he tried everything he could to defend his position. But Marquez kept getting faster and ultimately took the lead near the end of the sprint session. I tried to give everything, to fight and try to find something, said Bezzecchi. But I saw Marc getting faster, and faster, and faster. Even though I did my best lap near the end, he was still ahead, he continued. Although he lost to Marquez in this sprint race, Bezzecchi is determined to keep working hard to perform better. Yesterday my pace was good, but not like the top riders, like Marc or like Gian Antonio, for example. But I will try my best to improve. Tomorrow morning during warm-up, hopefully we can get in a few more laps in dry conditions, said the Aprilia rider, referring to Sunday's main race. Meanwhile, Marc Marquez tried to break down what happened during the sprint race. The Spanish rider ended Friday's session by warning the media that Saturday's wet conditions at the Sachsenring would force him to consider his position in the standings when deciding what risks to take. After qualifying on pole, Marquez went on to win the 15-lap German MotoGP Sprint Race, though he had to fight his way back from 5th position after running wide at the start. He reclaimed the lead on the final lap to secure his 10th sprint victory of the season, extending his lead in the standings to 78 points. Marquez said that suboptimal tire temperatures at the start made him initially think he would only finish on the podium, but after a few laps, he managed to achieve a better result. Of course, that first corner complicated everything, especially because the first 2 or 3 laps didn't feel comfortable, Marquez told MotoGP.com. I struggled with tire temperature, and that's also what caused the mistake in turn 1. I went into the corner, felt the bike locking up and moving a lot, so I decided to go wide to lose some positions but stay in the race, which was the most important thing. The first 2 laps were tough, and I thought, okay, today is a day to finish 5th, 6th, maybe 4th. But then at one point, the tire temperature was right, I started to feel the bike, I felt the transitions, and then I started attacking. Maybe a bit too much. Now we're happy, but even second place would have been enough. Still, my instincts said, go for the win. Like I said, today was a day to think about the championship standings. For that reason, maybe today should have been a day to finish second. But this is how I am. I try to control it, I try to train myself to manage everything, but sometimes you just have to follow your instinct. But I think Luigi Dalligna, enjoyed this. He has a racer's mentality. So, this win is for him, because today is his birthday. There was another key moment for Marquez in the sprint race when he overtook Fabio Quartararo, Monster Energy Yamaha, for second place on lap 9. While going through turn 2, Marquez nearly lost control of his rear tire, admitting he thought at that moment, it's time to fly. It was very tight conditions, especially when I passed Fabio in turn 1, Marquez recalled. I jumped into turn 2 a bit closer and tried to follow the same line at the same speed, but I ended up getting too close. So I forced the lateral grip more and then lost rear grip. For a moment, I thought, okay, time to fly, but I stayed on the bike. Marquez is now the first rider in the sprint era to win 10 medium-distance races in a single season. The Ducati star has finished in the top 2 in 11 of those races. Last year, Saturdays were my weak point, he said. Now this year, they're my strongest point. I worked hard during the winter to improve my Saturday performances. It's true that this bike helps a lot. Last year's bike, in time attacks or sprint races where I pushed the front hard, I really struggled. But the GP25 works very well.